The Town of Orangetown regular town board meeting for Tuesday, November 27th. Would the town clerk please call the roll?
Councilman Dennis Troy.
Present.
Councilman Thomas Divity.
Here.
Councilman Paul Valentine.
Here.
Councilman Jerry Batari.
Here.
Supervisor Chris Stay.
Here. Would Esther Bailey please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have several announcements. Then we're going to go to an award presentation for some Girl Scouts who earned their Silver Award. First, we've got on December 1st, this Saturday, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. is the South Orangetown Holiday Walk and Tree Lighting Ceremony. It's the first annual one of that. That's at the Tapan Reformed Church in the Manse Lawn. Again, Saturday, December 1st. On the 2nd of December, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., is the Ladies Auxiliary of the Orangetown Fire Company #1 Annual Pancake Breakfast with Santa over in South Nyack at 90 Depot Square. Then December 2nd, 19th, 9th, 16th, 23rd, all the Sundays basically of December from 1 to 4 p.m. is Toyland at our own Orangetown Historical Museum and Archives annual holiday show at the Salyer House. Admission is free for that event, and there'll be toys and Santa will be there to hand out treats for the kids. December 7th at 7 p.m., that's Friday, is Pearl River Rotary Share Christmas event over at Brownsdorf Park in Pearl River. December 8th at 6 p.m. is the Orangeburg Fire Department's holiday parade that runs down Leicester and back around to the fire department, and they have an event there on site. Then again on December 9th, we have our own Town of Orangetown 27th Annual Santa Claus 5K Run at Veterans Memorial Park. There's kids races at 10 and the Santa 5K at 10:30. You can contact the Parks and Recreation Department for more info about that. We then, moving on to non-holiday related business, there's a traffic flow adjustment public hearing continuation on the next town board workshop, regular town board meeting of December 11th at 8 p.m. I'm going to get back to the TOD study results after the awards presentation. One more announcement. Tomorrow is my daughter's birthday, Scarlett, who's watching at home, so she's going to go to bed early. She's only turning 3, so I just want to wish her a happy birthday from Daddy. Happy birthday, Scarlett. Okay, moving on to the presentations. I'm going to hop up from here so I can actually reach the people getting the awards for our Girl Scouts getting their awards for their Silver Award from Troops 40199 and 40493 of Pearl River and Troop 40472 of Tapan. So hold on one second. And if you want to come up, we have someone from the troop that wants to come up and join me, one of the troop leaders, or no? If we don't, if you're just taking photos, that's fine, but if you want to be up here, and then you can take this award and go down and get your congratulations from the town board members. All right, so first we're going to go through Troop 40199. Megan Bridget Kelly. Where are you? There you are. Congratulations. We got a photo gun over there. We'll do the photo, and then you go shake. You got it? No? Okay. Good. Naeem Galligan. Naeem. There's a typo in your name. Lori Edwards. All right, from 40472 of Tapan, Katrina Christopher. Amy Kugelman. Zara Schenk. And Troop 40493 of Pearl River, Molly Louise McGarity. Lily Farrell McArdle. Emily Marie Fastoff. Sheila Elizabeth Fastoff. 2 for 1 family. Alexa Rose Warren. And last but not least, Jennifer Lynn. Let's get a big round of applause for all the Girl Scout Silver Award winners. All right, now, I know most of the Girl Scouts here are not here for the town board meeting, so I'm going to move for a brief 5-minute recess so they can get to the food. There's some food and snacks in the back for you. So is a second for the motion for a 5-minute recess? Councilman Valentine, all in favor? Aye. All right, go ahead, enjoy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move out of our brief recess and ask for everyone to simmer down now. All right. Okay, so just a couple of announcements that I left off in the interest of getting those Girl Scouts their well-deserved rewards, and one that was handed to me at the last minute. December 8th at 12 p.m., the Kathy Lukens Center is having a Christmas party, and all are welcome. And then 2 other brief announcements. Our Pearl River Downtown Revitalization / Transit-Oriented Development Study was completed, and we have the results posted to the website. If you go to the homepage of Town of Orangetown, you can click through and read the study. It's got a lot of great info. Essentially what it says is there's a lot of room to do some good work in Pearl River, both to rezone and make it more of a downtown zone, but we also want to make sure that we preserve the character of the community, and that's something that we all want to keep in mind no matter what we do. So the next step will be the town board will be considering different options available to us and taking into account all the feedback from the public and the data that's in there. And it's really a lot of data about the community itself that's just interesting to know about the makeup of it, the income levels, where people commute from to get to Pearl River, where people from Pearl River commute to. It's all very interesting stuff, and it will inform whatever we do for that downtown. So in the next coming weeks and months, we'll be coming up with some options from zoning to other improvements to grant application packets to try to get Pearl River to make sure it stays economically vibrant and thriving. And then the last announcement, way back, I think it was in the spring, we voted to join an O&R rate case to basically fight O&R's proposed rate hike, along with the 5 towns in total and also the Solid Waste Management Authority. We won in a good way. We're actually going to get a reduction in our gas rates and only a very slight increase over several years in our electrical rates, much, much less than what was originally pushed. It was a very small investment on the part of the town. I think it only came to like somewhere in the low 10 or upper 6s, 7s of thousands of dollars. And we're going to say, because of those efforts and that attorney's fighting, it's going to save a lot of money for the residents of the entire county over the course of the next 3 years. In 3 years from now, your gas rates will still be lower than they are today. That's how good this result was. So it's a good thing we chose to do it, and I just want to make sure everyone's aware of it. All right, moving on, we're going to have our public comment. So we have a few sign-ins. It's 3 minutes. Once you get through your 3 minutes, you can finish up your sentence, and then we'll move on. It's not question and answer. We'll address all concerns at the end of the public comment period. So the first person to sign is Esther Baylor from Spark Hill. You can go ahead whenever you're ready, Esther.
Good evening, Supervisor Day and Town Board members. My name is Esther Baitler, and I'm very pleased to let you all know that I'm working through Geronimo Tech at the Palisades Mall for Salvation Army. Yes, I've done a great job. I work every Saturday, and I've gotten a lot of people to give donations, and I hope that you all will be willing to give donations. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you, Esther. Yes. I did. I mentioned it. You just walked in right before it. Sorry. No problem. Hold on. There we go. I always forget how these buttons work. Jennifer Rankin of Pro River regarding parking meters.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Jennifer Rankin, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker with a private practice in downtown Pearl River. You've heard from me in writing last April. I've spoken with Mr. Day several times, and here I am tonight to appeal to you in person. I've canceled all of my clients for this evening to be here. Sorry. Recently, all the parking meters in front of my office were changed from 2 hours to 30 minutes, and I'm just here to plead again to at least put them at an hour so that anyone that comes to see me, any of the therapists in my business, the speech therapists, the feeding therapists, anyone who comes into my office is going to be there for at least an hour. The 7 parking meters right in the vicinity of my office have been changed to 30 minutes, and that just does not work for me. And I knew when I moved my office from North Middletown Road with a parking lot to downtown Pearl River that I was going to have to deal with meters, but they were 2 hours. I'm going on my 5th year in that office, and I'm just pleading for you to please increase them at least to an hour, because it definitely impacts me. They are right outside my front door. That's all.
Thank you.
Jen, I just got a question, because I'm right across the street from you.
Yeah.
Which ones were, I know the 2 ones in front of the antique store were changed. Which other ones were?
That's actually my office, too.
No,
uh,
but what are the other 5 ones that were changed?
They went right down that road at Pilgrim Market, and some of them actually increased from 15 minutes to 30 minutes. I couldn't use them when they were 15. I still can't
The
use them
map
when they're
extended
30.
it more.
But
It was 2 on the
4,
other side.
yeah. And then across the street by your office, right, in front of Jane's.
The
Well,
corner-
that's always been like 15 minutes.
There was
Right.
a 15 and a 2
But they
over
went
there.
up to 30.
Yeah, just to clarify
Right.
that, 1:15 became a 30 on that side by Jane, one
Yep.
2-hour became a 30, and then across from the antique store, the 2 became a 30 that were 2 hours, and then 3 more became 30s. 1 was a 15-minute and 2 were 2 hours.
Those are in front of
Three of
Pilgrim
three
Market.
of
That
them
was in
were
front of Pilgrim Market. So
3 of them in front of my office were 2 hours, and they've now been
right.
changed to
The
30
3
minutes.
in front, there were 2 hours, and 2
Right.
15 minutes became 30 in the change on the map that we
By,
adopted
by,
recently.
by Pilgrim Market.
By Pilgrim Market,
All right.
yes.
So the
on,
2 that
on Main are all 2 hours still, except for those ones by Jane.
All right.
And 2 that were 15 minutes, I acknowledge, were increased. I couldn't use them when they were 15 minutes.
You still
I
can't use them now.
still
Right.
can't use them. But the ones directly in front of my office, the 3 directly in front of my office, were all lowered. So it just eliminates anyone that comes into my business. And I've been there 5 years. I renovated the building. I keep the outside neat. So
Thank you.
I'm just pleading. Thank you.
Appreciate the feedback. Thank you very much. Susan, I'm sorry, Susan Fink? Fink, I thought so.
I'm Susan Fink, and I'm basically here because I've spoken to a lot of people in Mr. Day's office regarding an overpopulation of cats on Wisteria Court. This is an ongoing problem, almost 2 years. I'm allergic to cats. I'm a nana. I can't have my grandchildren come over and play in the backyard because the cats are overpopulated, and he won't stop doing it. He's not inoculating them. He's not taking care of them. They're all over the street. My second problem is they are illegally parking 5, 6 cars across the street from me that it's hard to get out of my driveway. I've called numerous amount of times. They've been ticketed. They are not doing a darn thing about the problem.
Well, you can come up afterwards if you like, and you can swap out. Yeah. It's Wisteria. We're familiar with the location, Wisteria. Is that all? 'Cause we can get back.
Yes.
We're going to circle back around to your concerns at the end. Okay?
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir, you can go ahead and step up. Just please state your name for the record when you get up there, if you don't mind.
My name is Phil Fink. I'm the husband. They are illegally parked during the winter. Between 2 and 6, they're supposed to be off the street. One truck already got a ticket 2 weeks ago, and the ticket's still on the van. So they parked these cars overnight. I think a couple others did get tickets, but they're just flaunting the law, so.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, is there anyone else here for open public comment? Yes, Allison. Whenever you're ready.
Allison Sullivan. I'm here to talk about Aloof. Before today, the odor reports were not showing up on the website. I'm just curious why. That was my first question. And we're relying on the system to determine how well Aloof is fixing their odor issues, and I don't think it's accurate to do so because many people I speak to either do not use the system or find it frustrating to use. The last time I tried to enter an odor complaint, I had to go through 2 pages of verifications, filling out little boxes that where there are street signs or cars, you know what I mean, to verify I wasn't computer, so that had to happen twice. Sometimes the system jumps up and people think that they've entered their complaint and they haven't. So to use this as an indicator of whether or not there are odors, I don't think is a good idea. The odors continue. Do you know what the DEC is doing? Because they have stopped communicating with me. What happens with the town when the odor reports come in? What happens? What does the town do? What steps are they taking? Do they try to verify? Is there yet a system in place? And the olfactometer or the nasal ranger, who is going to be trained in that? And has that happened yet? I see it's on the agenda. And that's it.
Thank you.
All right.
Is there anyone else for open public comment? Yes, Eileen.
Good evening, members of the board. I'd like to bring up the issue of Cablevision. You did raise the issue about the town went to bats for the residents about the Orange and Rockland rates, and if something could be done about Cablevision, because when we first got Cablevision, I think we paid $2 for every box that we had in our house. Now it's up to about $8 or $9 a box, I think. It's about $7 or $8 a box. I'm forced to have sports, pay for sports. I don't use sports. It's up to now about $8 or $9. That hurts me every month to have to pay for that much money for a station that I don't use. And overall, the programs on Cablevision are certainly not worthy of really watching. If it wasn't for Masterpiece Theater or the PBS channels and Fox and those channels, I don't know what I'd be watching on television. It's hopeless. Turner Classic Movies, you know, Masterpiece has great shows on, but like 2, 4, 7 has Jeopardy, and they have Wheel of Fortune. They're quality shows. But the majority of the shows are not quality shows, and we're paying so much money. My bill is like $220 a month. At one time, it was like $119, then it was $125, and we got rid of one of the boxes because it was ridiculous. But I don't know. I don't know what where the contract is on Cablevision, if it's coming up for renewal. I think it was a 10-year contract we had with them. Maybe the town's attorney's office could take a look at their contract and see when it's up for renewal, or maybe they should be able to require to come in and give senior citizens a break or something. It is something that we watch for news, and so anyway, I'm just bringing that to your attention because maybe you would be successful in reaching out to Cablevision to see about how they are charging people. They just automatically send you a new bill. And if you call up and say, I don't want it, well, it's part of the package, you have to take it. So anyway, that's my grief. Thank you. Congratulations,
Eileen.
Rosanna.
Anyone else for public comment? Okay, yes, go ahead. And just please state your name for the record, if you don't mind.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Mooney. I am on Wisteria Court as well. We recently moved in as of last year, and I have 2 small children who are not able to play outside. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars trying to keep cats away from my property to no avail. And I've called, I've spoken to several people, well, a lot of people, and I mean, these cats are still all over the place.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Okay. Seeing no comment, I'll entertain a motion to close public comment. Councilman Troy, second from. Councilman Valentine, all in favor? All right, in response to some of the concerns brought up, and we'll bounce it around as necessary. Esther, that's great. Salvation Army's worthy cause over at the Palisades Mall when you're doing your Christmas shopping. Giovanni Attack, yes, sorry. Jennifer Rankin, thank you for coming in. I know we talked at length on Facebook, and it's a good feedback. The thing is, when we do a change, it's theoretical, and we wanted to redo our whole map. Originally, we were looking at only a couple spots. We kind of tried to balance it by the 15 and the 2s. I understand the impact on you there. Fortunately, there are still 2 hours on Main. I know it's not quite as convenient for your particular business. But I do think, having a 1 hour as an option for us as a town to use in downtown Priver makes sense. It's something that we'd have to do a hearing on to create a change in the code, because it's not an option for us right now. But maybe it's something we can do in anticipation of possibly figuring out where that might make sense and once we get more feedback on this. So this just happened. Changing meters is basically spray paint and a couple of programming chips in there. So we're happy to revisit it if it turns out to be causing an issue over there with the 30-minute zones. And the intent, so everyone's clear, is to make sure that people aren't overstaying the meters and making there not be turnover at the commercial businesses downtown. We're not raising the rates on them. We want to make sure that people are moving around so people can get into the stores that need to have that turnover is the goal. So thank you for coming in. Phil, Susan, and Jennifer about Wisteria. So you know where we stand on that. As you know, this is an ongoing issue that my office is familiar with, the police department's familiar with, the building department's familiar with. The owner of that property has been brought in, is currently with the town attorney's office on a violation for the cats. So they are in the process of prosecution on that. The problem is our powers are limited in terms of literally just impounding the cats and taking them away. And another thing that occurred is we discovered when we visited High Tour, myself and the other supervisors, is that High Tour, when they were taking cats, was already doing the trap, neuter, release program, which means that they fix them and send them back, and there's a ringworm issue there, but that's neither here nor there. But the issue is that we never agreed to that. So what happens is that over a period of years, then these groups disappear, but as opposed to just being taken away and put into some sort of care system. We're addressing that right now. High Tour is going through a lot of turnover, and the hope is that when we send the cat somewhere, it will be dealt with and not sent back to the colony. And then another thing we've done in terms of the odor is you'll see in the agenda the nasal ranger, which is the olfactometer. We're getting an additional one and this addresses the question Allison had, for our animal control officer. So when he gets to a place that has odor, he can put it under our odor code. Now, he's not able to violate on that, but he can sign an affidavit, then our building department can issue a violation. So it's an additional thing that he can penalize people for if he sees cats or animals that are out there and is causing an odor issue. So I think that could help, and he's gonna have to get trained up on it, obviously. But we know it's an outstanding issue, and there's no good way to deal with it. The parking overnight, we'll get the PD over there for some targeted enforcement, because there is no parking overnight there, and eventually they'll have to be towed if they get cited multiple times. So obviously they've gotten tickets, and obviously they're not responding, I understand. So if they get ticketed a lot, they're gonna get towed at some point, and especially during a snowstorm when we have the power to do that and impound the vehicles. So it's just a matter of time before that gets dealt with, and I'll make sure the PD gets over there. Then Cablevision, what's our power with Cablevision? I wasn't here when this thing was done, so was it?
Nor was I. I think they get a license, right?
Dennis, are you familiar with what?
They get a license to operate in the town.
Yeah, they have a license to operate.
We
but I
issued a
don't know. My
license?
daughter, Mrs. Larkin, was on the Cablevision committee at one time.
That was about 20 years ago, I think. Dennis.
Just check.
Chris, I'm paying $305.
I know, it's expensive. I pay a lot.
What I have is switch the files, it's, sometimes, one of the problems I have, and I've had with both, I've had Cablevision with the files, with back to Cablevision, in the midst of maybe going back again, is that they offer all these special deals, but only to new people, not to somebody who's a longtime customer like yourself. So I don't know. It's between a rock and a hard place dealing with Cablevision. So I don't know the answer.
If you could check into it, Rob. So I'll have, Rob, if you want to check into it and see like what exactly,
Yeah, we'll look into it. I mean, they, as I said, they get a
They get a
license
license.
to operate within the town and,
yeah.
you know.
And there's some minimal requirements that come along with it, right? I mean, but I don't know what they are.
Yeah, I mean, we'll take a look at it, but I don't know frankly that there's much.
We said I mean, listen, it's the same price they offer on their nationwide plan, so I'm assuming what the towns have in every town isn't an enormous amount of power, but maybe there's something about a free box for seniors or something. I don't know. We could try to figure it out, so we'll take a look. Right, yeah, like the public access and everything, so, all right, so we'll take a look. Allison, to the form, we identified some issues with the form in terms of the bouncing, and that should have been corrected, I think, by IT. It was a form that was required that most people weren't filling out, and it was taking you back to the top. We have found that it correlates pretty highly with any emailed complaints, and it's really the #1 system of reporting we've received in terms of if you compare phone, email, and online, and what we've observed, our people have observed too. It does correlate highly. Now, not everyone's reporting, obviously, but not everyone reports on any matter, but it's the highest used method of reporting that we've seen. And it gives us that standardized data so we can map it and plot patterns, which have informed the deployment of our personnel for enforcement. And we have had several affidavits signed already by our public health engineer for having detected the odors, and we're preparing possible violations based on that over the last couple weeks span when there have been a couple periods that were really bad. So we are deploying based on the reports as soon as a person's available. We have had some individuals that work for the town that are in the enforcement side of things smell it, and it's just basically the documentation phase. So, you know, as long as it meets that legal standard in our code, they will be violated soon on that issue. The issue is just making sure you can trace it to the source wherever that source is. Otherwise, it goes away in court and it wastes everyone's time. And the CAPTCHA, I don't know if we can dial it back a notch. I know maybe switch the CAPTCHA we're using. Those image ones are kind of confusing. But we need one to make sure it's not spam or fake reporting, but maybe a simpler one for mobile. But I'll talk with IT about that. I'm not sure if it's possible. We'll take a look. I think that's everything. One question, yes.
So we have to live with the kittens and the cat?
Basically, as long as there's a due process issue here. The code the law considers the cat's owner to be whoever generally is caring for them. Unless the health department gets involved and there's a serious issue, which the health department can get involved, and they are involved, but there are limitations to the power of each entity in there, and they all involve due process. You can't just go in and seize the stuff. So that process, however, has begun. They are in court. It is going forward, and I hate to ask for patience because you've been using a lot of it, but know that the steps have been taken to put them in court and issue the violations, and then ultimately, if they fail to comply, actually remedy the situation. But if we skip to the end, then it's just going to cause it to go all right back to the beginning, and the guy will be richer and still have all the cats, essentially. So it depends on the time in the courts, but we will keep you posted because we know we've received complaints from you folks, and we definitely want to speed it up as quickly as possible. Anything from gentlemen up here?
No, with the cat issue, because it's just not over by you, there's an issue on Carroll Street in Pearl River where I've talked to Pat Lanahan and a number of his neighbors, and they had the same issue you're going through. Feral cats, someone's feeding them, which is going to bring them back, and it smells of urine. And I talked to Rob Magrino about what we can do, and maybe we can tighten up our laws, but it's generally handled by the health department for the county of Rockland. And Chris is right. The owners of the cats have property rights. If we just take them from them, we're going to end up in court and we're going to lose. So
It's a very loose definition of owner for an animal in New York State, and we can conceivably tighten it up, so we can look into that.
well, that's what I would like to do. Tighten up, the law and then enforce it with and we've discussed this before, but Chris and I will talk to the attorney, see what we can do about tightening up the Orangetown law regarding,
Who's an owner, basically,
Yeah.
whether it's a stray or not.
Rob Magrino's our attorney right here.
Yeah, so he's right here. He's heard us, and we'll be good to go. Anything else, gentlemen? Good? Paul? Yeah, go ahead, Jerry.
There's a house on Erie Street as well.
Yeah.
The brick house down from me that has,
It's like
cats
3 or
had the
4
same
known
problem.
spots.
Health department was
Yeah.
there. Took a long time, but they did pick them up and they do bring them back, so.
Yeah,
And also, Kingsley Grove, my sister lives down there, they're right next to the reservoir, they have a huge population because, again, one of the neighbors feeds the cats, so they continuously come back, and they've had issues down there. So there's, I'm counting, that's 4.
There's
and I'm
4
sure
or
there's-
5 that are known
I'm sure
spots.
there's other
yeah.
areas that, so it's something that we should try to tighten up the law and
And the other issue, the odor, is a lot of it, you know, even if, we've seen when the cats go for a period at some of the other locations, and then they eventually return because the owner's back, the odor sticks around a lot of times because it's from the cats, you know, using the property for, you know, going to the bathroom. So it's absorbed into the ground, and that's a whole nother issue. So we can only box up what we can deal with one at a time. Obviously, of your problems, the easiest one to deal with is the parking, so we'll definitely get on that, but we're going to continue to push forward, and I think Tom's right. We do have the ability to tighten up certain aspects of that at the town level, so we should, and make it easier for us to enforce. So thank you for coming in. Moving on, we have a few more minutes before we can start our public hearing. So I'm going to move ahead from 1, 2, and 3 on the agenda, and 4, which relates to the noise code, to number 5, which is a resolution to accept improvements for the OMM soccer complex. Do I have a motion on number 5? So moved by Councilman Choi, second. Councilman Divney, all in favor? Aye. Motion to accept with resignation, accept with regret the resignation of Joe Jusick. Jusick? Yes, I thought that's right. From the Orangetown Housing Authority. Is there a motion? Councilman Divney, second. Councilman Troy, all in favor? Motion to appoint Sean Walsh to replace Joe on the Orangetown Housing Authority. Is there a motion? Councilman Troy, second from Councilman Batari, all in favor? Resolution to approve the charging of nominal fees for any portion of Town Hall. Just call attention to this. This began its life as one for just wedding ceremonies, but bouncing back and forth with other uses of Town Hall. If we keep it generic, if there's some other group that wants to use a space, it allows us to just, you know, make sure it's not anyone coming in. We've had some groups that are very tangentially related to the town want to use our space, and this kind of at least will put a borderline on it. So it'll be weddings or, you know, a lawyer or whatever group that's not civic in nature or nonprofit. Is there a motion on this one? No. Councilman Valentine, second from Councilman Troy. All in favor? Resolution to approve agreement for Gold Cap to be able to offer some periodic consulting services related to various contracts. Is there a motion on this one? Councilman Divney, second from Councilman Valentine. All in favor?
Have you used them before?
We used them for the study that reduced we saved like 16,000, what was it, 20-something thousand a year? 20,000 a year in recurring stuff, but there was things that didn't have a direct dollar savings that some departments want to use them for, so we're going to have an hourly rate now. Memorializing resolution urging New York State to take certain measures to reduce recruitment of young smokers. Councilman Batari with the motion, Councilman Troy with the second. All in favor? Aye. Resolution to accept and receive a planning board bond from USIS. Is there a motion? Councilman Valentine, second from Councilman Troy. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution to accept, receive, and file documents in the town clerk's office. Is there a motion?
Moved.
Councilman Divney, second from. Councilman Batari, all in favor? Resolution for a hold harmless agreement for a Blondie Road, a structure in the right-of-way. Is there a motion? Councilman Troy, second from. Councilman Valentine, all in favor? Motion to, resolution to accept and receive and file right-of-way dedication and a deed of easement for Walgreens in Tappan. Is there a motion?
Moved.
Councilman Divney, second from. Councilman Batari, all in favor? Resolution to release a performance bond in the amount of $176,000 in change for the same site. Is there a motion?
Moved.
Councilman Divney, second from. Councilman Batari, all in favor? Resolution to authorize MOU with Rockland County Shared Services regarding the assignment of a police detective to the Regional Investigative Resource Center. That was for this year. It's just a sort of backwards-looking thing. Councilman Batari with the motion, second from Councilman Troy. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution to approve a pilot agreement for the property in Nyack that will be hosting the Rockland Community College Culinary Institute, which is contingent upon them continuing to host that Culinary Institute. Is there a motion? Councilman Batari, second from Councilman Valentine. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution to approve a tax certiorari with, to the amount of $22,000 in liability for the town, $115,000 for the school district. Is there a motion? Councilman Troy, second from Councilman Valentine. All in favor? This we mentioned earlier to to approve the purchase of one additional olfactometer for our animal control officer. Is there a motion?
Move.
Councilman Valentine, second Councilman Divney. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to declare surplus for highway equipment. Is there a motion? Councilman Batari, second from Councilman Troy. All in favor?
Get that 550.
Resolution to approve lend aid for the Orangeburg Volunteer Fire Department Holiday Parade on December 8th. Is there a motion? Councilman Batari, second from Councilman Valentine. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution to adopt a 6-month police regulation for a new stop sign at the corners of Washington Street and Spark Hill Avenue in Spark Hill. Is there a motion?
Move.
Councilman Divney, second from Councilman Troy. All in favor? Some new business. This has not been workshopped, so please just take a quick look. They're time sensitive, though. That's why they're on for this meeting. And this is why we're changing the format of the meetings in the future. Resolution to amend a prior resolution in 2017 regarding agreement for vegetation management plan along the rail trail. Who is the originator of this? Rob, you got some background?
Yes, this is Parks and from my office. There had been an agreement with Orange and Rockland when they removed trees along the rail trail. There was some remedial work done. There was a fence put up, and some fences are in the area of where O&R has easements. There was an agreement with O&R that they would
Give
pay
us
us $50,000. This is the last, there was one hiccup in the agreement, so this kind of covers that. We're indicating if where our fence is, if there's damage to the fence, we'll take care of it. They're not going to be liable. So once this is done, we'll send the paperwork back and should get the $50,000.
Cleared up a gray area, basically.
Okay.
Right,
Okay.
exactly, exactly.
Okay. Is there a motion on this one? Councilman Valentine, second from Councilman
Me.
Divney. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution to approve lend aid for the South Orangetown Day first annual holiday walk and tree lighting at the manse. Is there a motion? Councilman Valentine, second Councilman Divney. All in favor? Resolution to award bid for a general contract for a total chlorine reduction from Jet Industries, $416,000. Is there a motion? Councilman Troy, second Councilman Batari. All in favor? Resolution to award bid for electrical contracts related to the same chlorine reduction. So one was the general, this one's electrical, to Fanshawe Inc. Is there a motion? Councilman Divney, second from Councilman Batari. All in favor? Resolution to accept the resignation of Matthew Kane from the Demi as electrician. Is there a motion? Councilman Troy, second from Councilman Batari. All in favor? Resolution to approve the, what are we approving here? Lending aid with auxiliary police and barricades for the same holiday walk and tree lighting in South Orangetown. Is there a motion? Councilman Batari, second from Councilman Valentine. All in favor? And this one, we had a little request from the Village of Suffern to lend them some of our barrel barricades for an event they're having this coming weekend, and we're not using them, so Jim Dean was happy to accommodate. So is there a motion? Councilman Batari, second from Councilman Troy. All in favor? Let's go ahead and do this, then we'll go back to the public hearing, because it's only 8:17 anyway. We'll finish this out.
Keep the 5, Jeff, 5. Let's see,
You was guessing, right? Got a pen?
I need my pen.
You gotta mark it.
Yes. Boom. Let's see.
Whenever you're ready, Jeff.
Okay, thanks. The audit for tonight's meeting consists of 5 warrants for $2.4 million. The first warrant had 1 voucher for $260 and was for Rockland County soil and water registrations. The second warrant had 71 vouchers for $1.1 million. Items of interest, 1 and 2, the applied golf contracts. Number 4, CSEA Employee Benefit Fund, $30,000 for dental benefits. Number 6, Department of Civil Service, $758,000 for CSEA Healthcare. Number 9, Van Bordo Ford, $89,000 for fire inspection and demi vehicles. The third warrant had 35 vouchers for $151,000 and was for utilities. The fourth warrant had 1 voucher for $2,000 and was for Neil postage refill. The fifth warrant had 381 vouchers for $1.1 million. Items of interest, number 10, Arthur Gallagher, $42,000 for insurance audits. Number 11, Atlantic Salt, $39,000 for highway salt. Number 13, Bella Vista Construction, $33,000 for highway chip work. Number 16, D&E Uniforms, $17,000 for police uniforms. Number 18, Environmental Construction, $29,000 for sewer repairs. Number 20, Global Metallo, $22,000 for fuel. 23, JP Morgan Equipment Finance, $53,000 for the energy performance contract. Number 28, Precision Electric Motors, $16,000 for sewer repairs. Number 29, Rebuild It Services, $109,000 for the repair of the trickling filter number 1. And number 34, Tilcon, $400,000 for highway materials. How'd you do,
Any
Tom?
questions for
I
Jeff?
was
How'd
off
you
by
do?
one.
One off.
I picked everyone you were going to mention except for one.
Councilman Divny's been guessing the ones of note, and he's been pretty good at it, so.
Any
Any questions for
questions
on
Jeff?
the audit? Get me through the week,
Yeah, hey. Any questions? No? All right. Do we have a motion on the audit?
I can only pick NFL games this week.
We'll move from Councilman Troy. Second, Councilman Divny, you got close enough?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving back to the beginning of your agenda. Okay, can I have a motion to open the public hearing regarding the, hold on, the noise code, yes. Motion from Councilman Divny, second from Councilman Batari, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, is there any correspondence or feedback we've received from any publication, do the proof of publication, everything, Rosanna? It's been publicized, and did we get anything back from, like, Rockland County or anyone else? Everything was negative, or we don't cares? No comments, okay. And no written comment whatsoever. Rob, can you give me a brief summary of
Sure.
just the
This,
situation at hand?
right, this came up, the noise code that we have,
It's a separate packet, guys, and
right, has been in effect for quite a while. There was some concerns raised regarding the standards that were in there. So we came up with a standard which has already been kind of through the ringer, so to speak, at the Court of Appeals. Basically, we're defining unnecessary noise as any excessive or unusually loud sound or sound which annoys, disturbs, injures, or endangers the comfort, repose, health, peace, or safety of a reasonable person of normal sensibilities. That language has been found to be enforceable, so that's in the code. That'll be in the code. Then what we're going to call specific prohibitions and what's called prima facie evidence, or evidence that it's actually a violation of the code. Certain parameters in there as measurable in decibel levels. We've worked on this law for several weeks, perhaps months, and
it felt like
it
months,
felt
didn't
like
it, Rob?
yes,
It felt like months.
almost years. But I know I thank the police department and the building department, as well as the town attorney's office. Got together on this and all have reviewed it, and we came up with this, and the decibel levels are there and definable. I did speak again with the police today. They have measuring devices that in instances where it's needed, the police, and I believe it's usually whoever the sergeant for that sector is, will have the device. So if you do have a specific situation, they'll have the device available. So there are numerous decibel levels in there at different times and different decibel levels, et cetera, which I know the board has reviewed. There are some exemptions. A couple things to note that we added were, and this is with respect to conversations with the building department. For example, section G regarding lawn mowers, leaf blowers, chainsaws, these are things that obviously people have an interest in. Monday to Friday, generally speaking, before 7 a.m. and after 8 p.m., they'd be prohibited 8 a.m. and 7, or prior to 8 a.m. and after 7 p.m. on Saturday, and prior to 9 a.m. and after 7 p.m. on a Sunday or legal holiday. And similar hours for bulldozer, backhoe, et cetera, Monday through Friday, different hours on the weekends, and power tools, et cetera. And finally, several exemptions that you see are in there. You know, snow blowers, snow removal equipment, et cetera, during a snowstorm or 48 hours thereafter. So, again, frankly, the noise ordinance does not come up much from my discussions with the police department and building department, but it's good to have for when we need it. So I think this clarifies it, the goal, and in the cases that, you know, we reviewed, as with any law, it's important that, you know, the citizens at large understand what's a violation, so they know if, you know, a police officer comes or a code enforcement officer says you're in violation, they know. We're hopeful that this should provide guidance both for them and for enforcement, and if we have to go to court, it's right there, so.
And yeah, I just wanted we had several different things come up with the old law. It was sort of both overly strict and overly weak at the same time, because it was a standard that was incredibly strict that you couldn't apply, but then also had no actual substance to it. Yeah, and there was also things missing, like there was no prohibition on construction noises, which the building department had to back into with sort of issuances of a permit. They would put caveats on the permit, and we ran into that with Hillside. We ran into issues with the bars in terms of complaints about it, Chase. So this should, and I can't. Rob touched on it, but the teamwork of the different departments in getting this done from the original stuff, and Rob's underselling himself and his efforts here. But every department contributed a lot to this. It went through 20 revisions, and this is, I think, a good law. So I'm happy to take any public comment. I don't see any actual members of the public here who aren't currently, there's 2 who aren't being paid by the town of Orangetown. Would anyone here like to speak on the public hearing for the noise code? Okay. Seeing no public comment, do I have a motion to close the public hearing on this particular topic? Councilman Valentine, second from Councilman Troy, sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any thoughts on the subject, gentlemen, or we want to move on to the secret vote? Any concerns about you all read through it, we're all good? Okay, very good.
I like it.
Excellent. Do we have a motion on secret for lead agency? Lead agency under secret.
Motion to designate town board lead agency and
Type 2, okay. With no further review under secret.
okay.
All right, Councilman Divney, second from Councilman Batari, all in favor?
Aye.
And a motion to adopt said local law amending the noise code in the town of Orangetown. Is there a motion?
Moved.
Councilman Divney, second from Councilman Valentine, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, very good. No more shouting now. And now we're moving to adjournments. We have 2 adjournments. Antonio Perillo, who's the father, Jerry Chavone from our town court here, just very recently passed, and Kathleen Fortescue Kavasansky of Pearl River. Does anyone, you know her, Dennis?
I know.
Yeah.
She's an aunt of one of our sewer, from the sewer department employees, Joe Morrow. And the Fortescues, the 2 sons are very big in terms of community charities in Pearl River particularly. You know, it's a very nice lady.
Billy and Jimmy run the Annie K Foundation, which they donate a lot of money to a lot of local families and charities throughout the town of Orangetown. So. Okay.
Okay, so I move then that we move into executive session to discuss contracts and a personnel matter, and then immediately thereafter adjourn in memory of Antonio Perillo and Kathleen Fortescue Kavasansky. Is there a second? Second. Councilman Divney, all in favor? Aye. All right, thank you very much.